Yes. What is happening, Jamplay Nation? Zay Brown here, jamplay.com. Come from the comfort of my home, and by my home, this place I'm staying at, in the lovely Berkshires, Massachusetts, during this whole, global pandemic thing. So hopefully you're at home, hopefully you're safe, and you're down to play a little bit. You got your instrument ready, and you want to get in on this week's jam. Starting out simple, this course is not your traditional course. We're going to be taking on like simple progressions every week, and every week we'll kind of talk about 3 different layers, maybe even 4, maybe even 7, who knows, probably 3. And we'll keep it relatively simple, and we'll build it up in different levels of ability, of just different ways that you can interpret a progression. So that if you were to go to your friend's house, hopefully soon, you could jam, like maybe they have a chord progression, maybe you had a cool chord progression that you were working on. Regardless, what do you do with that? Somebody throws it at you, and now you need to come up with something to make music. So what these next several weeks are all going to be about, playing some tunes. It'll be fun. So thanks for joining, and let's get going. This is a new platform, clearly not the Jamplay studio, so bear with me. We got Chris Smith, man in the helm, on the that there Skype. So if you have any questions, you can send them in. And until then, let's get started, shall we? So this week we'll be dealing with a 1-chord jam. So generally speaking, anybody who can get together knows an E chord. Cool. So many tunes are based around E, or the key of E, and especially like riff rock. So when I did this track originally, it was kind of, call it rage ski.
Hey guys, we appear to have lost Dave's feed for a second here, so we're going to try to get it back, so just hang in there for a minute.
But basically, we're just going to hold a chord. It's a 2-bar phrase. We'll hold the chord straight through the first bar, and then in bar 2, we'll hold it even longer for about 3 beats, and really just a little bit of a flourish right on the end, an E and a, for just to kind of give it a little motion. Super amount of space, which is great. Sometimes it's nice to go back and forth between, filling up a lot of space and leaving space. Both create a completely different dynamic with very little input. It's pretty straightforward, right? So again, the first one is just you're gonna grab a good old open E chord, right? So first finger on the third string, first fret, middle finger on the second fret of the 5th string, and ring finger on the 4th string, 2nd fret. Good. Okay. So you're gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1. Okay, so it's super simple. Up, down, up, down. So the basic way to strum 16th notes, yes please. Sorry, yeah, okay, so we'll get that tab off for you. This is, for Chris, I know it's a little late, but it's just the first option for the chords. So you're going 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1. Okay, so do you have to learn how to count it? No, but it helps. Anytime you can take the time to do that, I'd recommend it. So again, the way to count 16th notes is 1 E and a 2 E and a, right? So on beat 4, it's 4 E and a. So you're letting it ring through the downbeat of beat 4, and then up, down, up. So you got 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1. You get the idea. Pretty straightforward. So that's going to be your basic option, right? And the second measure here, we're going to give you well, I guess it would be measure 3, excuse me. We're going to give you a different strum pattern. There's only one bar long, but you can kind of keep repeating it. It's just a busier strum pattern. So that one is basically nonstop 16th notes. The first beat is going to go 1 and up. So you got down, down, up. Because when you're doing 16th notes, it's down, up, down, up. So basically you're skipping over the E, down, down, up. Then you got 2E and Then there's a tie on the of 2, so you're going to let that ring, which means you're just going to skip over with a down strum. So like you're going to strum, but you just miss the strings. And then you're right back on track after that. E and 4E and So basically beat 3 is exactly like beat 4 in the first option, where you just have up, down, up, or E and but it's happening a beat earlier than it does in the first option. So then there's a whole nother beat of 16th notes that you can throw in. So it would be like 1 and 2 E and E and 4 E and So again, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down. Okay, so I'll walk you through them. I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Most of you are probably hanging with me. I'll walk you through both each separately a couple times in a row. And then what we'll do is we'll throw on the track and we'll do 4 bars of each, or 4 times through each, I should say. So I guess that would be 8 times on the, we'll figure it out, sorry. Before we get to that, so the first one again is gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, E and a 1, 2, 3, 4. And the second option is 2, 3, 4, 1 and a 2 and a 1 and a 2 and a. And again, that one a little slower is. Sweet. Let's play it against the track. We'll bump it up in just a second. Here we go. So you'll hear 8 clicks up front, and then we'll kick it. So again, we're going to do 4 times through the first one. Yes, I believe it might be 2. I'm thinking it's 4. I should know this. You guys. You already got me. I already screwed up. Here we go. No, just kidding. Here we go. Twice I already screwed up. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 2, 3, 4, 1. Now we'll do 8 of the other one. 1 and a 2. Back to the other one. And now we're going to get busy again. 3, 4. Sweet, 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 sweet. So that's your basic options. We'll go through them one more time just so you can, have a little fun practicing them. And then we'll talk about how to spice it up really quick, nothing too crazy. And then we got other stuff to conquer. So let's do it again. Get ready. So again, 4 times through the first one, and it's really 8 times through the second one. That's what I was thinking. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Looks like we lost Dave's feed again, just temporarily. Such is the way it is in the days of remote streaming. So hopefully we will get that back here in just a sec. This is Chris here. Oh, here he comes.
Cool beans. Okay, so that's your basic option, right? If you're just playing an open chord, you don't know much. You only know one chord. Maybe you know a little more than one chord, but the E's already in your repertoire. Might as well get busy. So do you see the difference in like how leaving space creates a whole different vibe? You know, the busier option is more of a chorus option. Like, so, you know, when the band kicks in and everything's kind of kicking up, maybe the drummer switches to the ride cymbal, it kind of creates a little more drive. And so another way to kind of get a little better creative with that is you can start with just like an E chord, but a movable option. So up at the 7th fret, 5th string, index finger, ring finger is going to bar strings 4, 3, and 2 at the 9th fret, right? And so that's another option there. You could just as easily strum that, which is nice about bar chords because you have a little more option to kind of mute them and kind of get a little more dynamic. You know, even when I was playing, you know, it's kind of tempting to palm mute it a little bit to give it a little more dynamics, for lack of a better term. It's a great term. Why not use it? So the other thing you could do is towards the end. So like for instance, the first one has a up, down, up, down. Up, down, right? So it falls into the next measure. And so what you can do with that, similar on the busier one where it goes 1, a 1 and a 2 E and up. Everything after that, E, 4 E and up, could be a different chord. So for instance, D kind of works really well with that. So the first option would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And you can slide into that chord, or you can just hit it straight like this, 2, 3, 4, 2. So that's an option too. It sounds pretty good. I'll demo it really quick. We don't necessarily need to really practice it, but just so you can kind of think of how to expand upon this. So the other option, the busier option, would be like 1 and a 2. And now if you do that every time, it might be a little busy again. So what I'll demo is number 2, the busier option will have just how we just practiced it, full straight E chord, but the second time through, I'll do the D at the other end. So here are both of those options, just so you kind of get the idea, and then we'll move on, unless anybody's got any questions, but it's pretty straightforward. So we got 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3. So it totally works, even though it's not technically the chord. So that was kind of like the first and second option to combine. All right, so now I'll go to the busier option. So it'll be like, first bar is normal. Cool, so there you get the idea. Yeah, so James would like to know, am I doing any muting with my right hand? You can. A lot of it right now, with the bar chord, is a lot of just applying pressure, not applying pressure. So you're getting a lot of ghost notes, a lot of scrapes like that. I'm not doing it too much. Yeah, there's not a lot of muting going on exactly how I'm playing it right now, but totally an option. Again, like, you know, and again, it's all how you want to read. Again, hopefully you'll be playing with people again soon. So if you're in a room with people and, you know, maybe you don't want to abandon the exact strum pattern you're on, so you keep that busier one going, but the band kind of comes down, so then you might want to apply a little dampening with the right hand, just so you kind of get that vibe going. Speaking of vibes, I think that answers your question. Options, yes, not necessarily in this exact example currently. So the second option is what I like to call vibes, okay? Vibes is just some stupid nomenclature I gave this for right now, because it creates a vibe. So a cool thing you can do when you're just on one chord is that one chord is stagnant, right? But you can create motion around it, okay? So for instance, I'm basically playing like an E power chord, right? So here's another way to create an E power chord. It's just up an octave. So you got first finger on the second fret of the fourth string, ring finger on the fourth fret of the third string. I should know that. Messed that up. Anyway, power chord. Pinky's on the fifth fret of the second string. That's your voicing. Now, a cool thing can happen with a power chord in the sense that you can basically
Hey guys, we'll try to get Dave back here. It's been cutting out a little bit, usually only for a few seconds, so hopefully it won't be too long.
second fret. You know, if you want to, I kind of tend to hone in on one specific fret when I'm looking to place these. So first finger on the second fret, then you can climb up to the fourth fret with your index finger. That's going to be the next one. Again, same shape this whole time. Climbing up another fret, so just one fret. So you got a whole step or two frets. Then you got a half step, right? Then you're going to go up another whole step. And now if you wanted to keep going through the whole scale, you can go up another whole step and then a minor third or 3 frets before you're back where you started. So that's really, oh, I forgot. You can kind of just do it for the pentatonic, which is, so basically E. But you can also more like a Dorian scale. So you got so all of those kind of sound good over it. So let me just go over exactly what I want you to play. It's going to be pretty straightforward. So it's going to go 1, 2, 3, 40, and okay. So that's all you're doing pretty much for every chord. Then you're just going to move up a whole step. 1, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, 2, 3, down, up, down, up, down, 2, 3. So for this one, you can, it's a bit of a jump the way I created it. If you want to keep it simple, you can just go 1, 2, 3, 40, and so I would jump back to your first finger on the second fret of the third string, middle finger on the third fret of the second string. So that would be like the simple option, and then just to be a pain, like I threw in a quick B. So like 1, just to show you that you can use it. It's, you know, you might want to, again, all of this is icing on the cake. Like, you don't necessarily need to be too busy with all this stuff, but it's good to know that these options are there. So you got 1, 2, 3, I'm sorry, 1, 2, 3. So you got down, up, downer, or and a 40 and a 1, 2, 3, 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 and a 40 and a 1, 2. So kind of has a Pink Floyd vibe. Something off the wall. I can't think of the track, but you hear it a lot. So let's play it along with the track. We'll just go for it. If we have time, we'll come back if you want to practice a little more. So I'm just going to play it straight through the track. It's only just about 2 minutes. We'll take a quick little break, and then we'll do it all again. Sound like a plan? Great. Awesome. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. At the same time ever. Sweet. So Chad had an excellent question that I totally meant to mention before when I was teaching this whole thing, and then I forgot. So thank you, Chad, for not letting me slip or fall. So the question is, how do you keep hitting the lower strings? The secret is, I am hitting the lower strings. It's just you got to be on your mutant game. So not mutant as in like Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, but like muting other strings that shouldn't be ringing, you know what I'm saying? So if you have a power chord here, basically what I'm doing is, first of all, I'm shooting for the fourth string when I come down with my right hand. If I happen to hit the fifth, it's not the end of the world, because my left hand, my index finger is touching the side of that fifth string. So that one's covered there. A little insurance, right? And then I'm just getting super lazy. Both my pinky and my first finger are hitting that first string. So even though I'm strumming 5 strings, safely speaking, sure, why not? Really, it's just those 2, and by 2 I mean 3, strings 2, 3, and 4 that are ringing, and strings 1 and 5 are negated. Okay, let's try it again, just because you gotta practice this stuff. You know, that's the only way to get it. But what I would suggest is, again, these are not too, I mean, they're fun to practice. I want you to practice them. You hopefully are right now. But specifically, they're to kind of give you ideas of like, how would you, if you sat down for a jam with a 1-chord thing, like what are some things you can do? You can play basic chords. You can do these power chord things. We're about to go over the riff. And then there's licks, pentatonic scales. We'll cover all that before the night is through. Okay, let's do it again, shall we? 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's the second option. Jeff would like to know what kind of guitar I'm playing. Is this Jeff Booth, my boss? This is a Reverend Air Sonic. You can see clearly through these F holes. It's kind of cool. It's got like a center block. So it's basically semi-hollow, but it's not semi-hollow because it's just got holes in it. And Reverend's pretty sweet. Bass contour. These are kind of like P90s essentially. Little whammy bar, give it a little wiggle during some of that expressive vibe playing. So thanks for checking in. All right, so concludes the second option of creating some vibes. Let's get on to the riff, shall we? So the riff, again, we're in E, so this is going to be E pentatonic. I'm going to give it to you for both options, just like the lead part I'll give you in a second as well. Straight out of open pentatonic and movable position. So let's just cover those really quick because that's where both the riff and the lead part in the next section will be pulled from. Okay. Am I trying to do a Jeff Goldblum or something? I don't know. I'm horrible at impressions. Don't ask. So the pentatonic in the open position essentially is open, 3rd fret with your ring finger, open 2nd fret on the 5th, open 2nd on the 4th, open 2nd on the 3rd. That's nitpicking right there. Open 3rd on the 2nd, open 3rd on the 2nd. So that's the basic pentatonic that we're pulling from, the movable position. We'll cover it in a second. Let's go over the open position while we're still on topic. So again, we're going to start off with some hammer-ons from the open 4th string into the 2nd fret. Okay, so you're going to use your middle finger, and you're just going to immediately. It's a grace note, so you're going to immediately hammer on twice. Okay, so you're playing the open string, not picking again, and just throwing your middle finger at that fret. Okay, so you got. Then you're going to play the open 4th string. Then you're going to play the 2nd fret on the 5th string, open 5th string, and the 2nd fret. That's the first section. So I'm going to recommend some picking throughout this. I'd recommend you adhere to my recommendation. Go figure. But, as long as you're consistent, I'm not going to put up a stink. Plus, I have no way to check in on you to see if you are indeed doing the correct picking. So it's going to go. Okay, so you got. Okay, and then after that, it's going to skip the downbeat, so I'd recommend going up on this next two. And again, it's all out of the scale, so it's pretty straightforward. We'll just blow right through it. So you're going to go up, down, up, okay? Up, down, up, and then you got down, up, down. And so you could do like rest strokes through that, and if you're going to do a rest stroke, make sure you really actually rest into the string. But you just want to make sure that you're not letting it all bleed together. You want to kind of have control of the notes. Otherwise, the alternate picking kind of helps with that. So that's what I would recommend. Again, that first measure is going to go. A couple more times. Okay. That's the first half. Second half is basically the same, except not. It's kind of like an A-B scenario, because it is. I had to get crazy with a whammy bar. It's throwing my whole game off, apparently. So you're going to go. So again, starts off as the same. Up until that note's exactly the same. And then you're going to.
Sorry for the dropout. Dave will be back in just a second here.
let's just, sorry, I got carried away there. Let's just repeat that second measure so you can kind of get that one under your fingers too. So that one again is going to go. So a lot of it is like, you know, notice I'm not going. It's not a big chaotic mess. I'm kind of dampening strings as I'm going. Sometimes, you know, it's the right hand. I'll even put like a finger underneath it, kind of like, I don't know, can't really tell, I'm sure. But that's the idea. Sometimes you can do it with your left hand. All hands on deck, no pun intended. All insurance policies. So. Okay, that's the second half. Let's put the two halves together. We'll go a little slower, and then we'll do the whole thing with the track. So again, it's going to go. Whatever, it'll be fine. So that's it. Let's play it against the track. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4, and. Thought we were done. Now I totally screwed up here. Let me get the last one. No, you get the idea. That's pretty good. All right, well, we'll just stop there because that's awkward. Anyway, you get the idea. It's pretty straightforward. It might take you a little longer to kind of get under your fingers, but you know the riff's pretty straightforward. Good excuse to practice some hammer-ons. I'm thinking about Dorian, Mixolydian, Aeolian, and are sounding pretty cool over this. Yeah. I'm not going to try and pronounce your name, but the question is, can you also touch on modes over the one chord? I'm thinking Dorian, Mixolydian, Aeolian are sounding pretty cool. Yeah, I agree. So the cool thing about this chord is it's an E chord, so you could consider it major, but it's basically minor. Even though you're kind of playing a power chord. So yeah, basically you're either thinking Dorian, Aeolian. Mixolydian's a great option too, because again, that major third can be kind of implied in there. It's when you hit the major third, it tends to go a little sweet. So it's like if you just want to, continue that kind of more badass vibe, you want to stick minor, whether it's just minor pentatonic or Dorian. So really quick, for those of you who don't know what that's referring to. So if you're thinking Dorian, you're thinking of E as an E minor, as in it's the 2 chord of another thing. Dorian implies a 2 chord. So if you're in the key of E minor Dorian, E Dorian, you're implying that it's the key of D, which is 2 sharps. So when you play 2 sharps over there, here, I'll just demo this really quick. It has a specific, again, vibe. And and so you can kind of do that, but that's what we were essentially doing with the chords earlier. That's a Dorian thing, right? If you're doing Mixolydian, you're treating E as like 3 sharps, like. Now all of a sudden that track has a completely different vibe. It's a whole nother song. And then Aeolian. So Aeolian's, again, that Mixolydian thing is kind of like niche. Like, it depends on if you want to create that sound, but it sounds awesome. Like, could be a good way to kind of spice up something or make a different part later on. But you can, Aeolian would be 1 sharp, so the key of G, like the 6th chord. And so you can translate that really quick back to these power chords. You can translate that to the power chords. So like if I was to walk up with, we'll do 1 sharp first. Then you start getting like these interesting things. So I'll go through these over the track. It's really just that tritone from the 3rd and the 7. So if you were to do Aeolian power chords, it would kind of sound like that. Like, so it's, that's where it just shows you. I won't go farther because maybe we'll touch back on this when it's time to solo again. But such a great question, because it's amazing what you can do if you just know your theory, right? Because really what music is, it's a hall of mirrors. There's not 12 keys. It's not like you have to learn the Aeolian scale and the blah, 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 blah. It's just 1 scale. And when you know how to manipulate it, and you know your theory of like, okay, well, how would I manipulate it? By manipulate it, I mean just picking another scale to imply over something else, because it's, just one of the scales you already know because you've already practiced it. It creates some cool stuff. Got to know your neck. It's easier said than done, but worth the dig, worth the shed if you got the time. Nice. Okay, we're moving on to, we're going to bring that riff up an octave really quick. It's not too bad. Again, it's just movable. We're in this, man. So we're in that classic position. You got 1 4 1 3 1 3 1 3 1 4 1 4. Right? So same exact stuff, but now you're just in this classic position. So you got. So you could even grab that with like. Pinky for this one is perfect. That one might feel more comfortable if you use your ring finger. Whatever's clever. Let me just play it a couple times through without the track, and then we'll play it along with the track. If you're not ready to take on this new one, that's fine. It's the exact same thing as the open position, so you might as well just play that. Stay comfortable. Cozy and comfy. That's the name of the game. Sorry, we're not jumping to the track yet. So, here it is. So it's... Okay, let's do it with the track. You can even combine them if I have time. Later, I'll go back and through. What? Yep, you know what I'm saying. You can, play 4 down here and then 4 up here and see if you can make the jump in time. Always a fun game. Here we go. 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, full in. What?
Sorry, guys, we've been having a little trouble with Dave's feed tonight. He's been dropping out every so often just for a few seconds. So he should be back in just a few seconds. Hang in there.
Kind of reminds me of a little bit of Hendrix, kind of. I don't know why, it just did. But anywho, that's a riff in both octaves. If we have time, we'll go back and we'll do them again. Again, you know, it's all pentatonic scale that I'm choosing. We'll talk about modes in a second, you know. But, you know, had you showed up to your buddy's house and he's just like, let's just do in one E jam, that riff wouldn't be there. And so your buddy might just be like... So really, you know, at that point, you could take the time to use that same scale that, you know, we just worked out of and craft your own, you know. But until then, you can totally play that riff over and over and over and over again. Bueno. Moving on to the lead. We're going to go back down to the open position, okay? We're going to start on the 2nd fret of the 3rd string, and we're going to give it a full bend 2 times in a row. So like 1, 2, 3. So, you know, I tend to like to snap that, so I kind of get my index finger underneath the 3rd string and just kind of pull up on it. It gives a little sass, a little stank. Okay, that was a horrible. Anyway, so you're going to do it twice. Then you're going to pick it again while it's already bent up. So you're already at the target note. You're going to bring it down and pull off to the open 3rd string and then play the 4th string. So you got... One more time, it's going to go and... Okay, so that's the first option. One more time. Not first option, that's the first part of the lick. Okay, then the next option right here, and again, this is primarily out of this open position right here, but what we're about to do, man. Sorry, I don't have a... So rude. I don't have a tuning pedal, so I gotta make you guys suffer. My B. I'd rather listen to somebody tune than somebody play out of tune, though. I don't know about you. Let's take a poll. Take a poll. Okay. I think we all know where we stand on that. So basically, you have this open position, but then there's another position right here. We're almost done, guys. Don't worry about it. Oh my God. Sorry. Hold on. For the sake of sanity. What just happened? It's a really good guitar normally. Okay, if you want to start a GoFundMe to have Dave get his guitar set up, please do. That'd be great. Yeah, I just moved from Colorado to Massachusetts, so I'm sure that's not really helping the cause. A lot more humidity around these parts. So again, where did I leave off? Now I don't even know what I'm talking about. So the next position right here, I know exactly what I'm talking about, is right here. And even if you don't know that whole position, you can still kind of, instead of playing right through this open position, you can kind of extend right here. So you go up to the third string, then you slide that middle finger forward 2 frets, and then all of a sudden you have 1, 3, 1, 3. Exactly how your fingers land out. You're basically kind of outlining this G chord essentially. So if any, you know, anybody who's learned Pink Floyd, I don't know if we're gonna get in trouble for that. I think, you know, ASCAP, I think we're good. I'm not teaching it, I'm just playing it. So anybody who's learned that Wish You Were Here solo in the beginning, this is where this all kind of pulled from. And classic position is extended in countless amount of solos like this as well. So we'll go over that up top in a second. So again, this is gonna go. And then you got 4E. So you're gonna slide your middle finger from the 2nd fret to the 4th fret. 4E and so down on 3 on the 2nd string, back up on 4 on the 3rd string. Then your first finger is going to go over to the 1st string, and you're going to kind of just tweak it slightly. And then when you do that, this is a very bluesy thing to do. When you do that, you want to just bend it up slightly, and you want to mute it before you even have the chance, because you don't want, you want, okay? So that's the difference, whereas it's just not as cool. It's not as So you got, in total, you got 1, 2, 3, 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 E and a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 E and a 1, 2, 3 and a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, a 4 E and a 1, 2, 3, 4 E and a 1, 2. Great. Let's try with a track, shall we? Here we go. 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got. Yeah. Cool. That's it in open position. Again, pretty much straight out, right out of the blues scale. Blues scale is basically the pentatonic scale plus the blue note, which is sharp 4, flat 5. That note right there. Okay. Sorry, apparently I just had to get that out of my system. Now, let's move it on to the movable position, shall we? So if you were to play that up here, you would start here with your ring finger on the 14th fret. Yeah, guy. 3rd string, 14th fret. Okay, then I like to pick this one up, bring it down and pull it off. And so I'm adding vibrato to that note. A lot of the time it's just against the side of my right hand, and I'm kind of just anchoring against that and torquing. So I'm not like, again, I'm not like bending fingers. I'm kind of just giving it a little. The finger is pretty steady. I'm pulling down, which happens to torque the string as the finger stays strong. And so, you know, you can practice. Vibrato is a whole other thing. We'll save that for another day. Got another course called Practicing Fundamentals. We'll cover on that. That'll be starting next. Third string. So word on the street is you lost my feed. So let me just cover a couple things I just talked about. With this, I guess it's a lead part, it's a lick. I'm throwing in some vibrato in there, right? So I got. So what I'm doing is, again, sorry if I'm repeating myself, I'm not sure where it cut out, but index fingers touching the side of this, the neck, how you say, the neck, and the fingers staying strong, and you're kind of torquing against it, which happens to pull the string down. Likewise up here. That's the basic idea with vibrato, but hey, if you need to practice vibrato, or hammer-ons or pull-offs or any of that fun stuff, I got another course coming up, starting next Tuesday, I believe, if not the following Tuesday, called Practicing Fundamentals. So we'll have a week, and by week, just 1 hour that week, specific week. We'll focus on vibrato. Other stuff too, bends, slides, yeah, I don't know, just making the hand stronger, whatever it takes, you know, beginner, intermediate, come hang. Almost out of time, so I just want to finish up this lick. So you got middle finger on the 14th fret of the 3rd string, sliding the whole step. Back and forth between the 2nd string and the 3rd string, then you're going to the 1st string. Giving that 17th fret on the 2nd string some vibrato, then right. Really all that area right here, that's all part of the same movable position that you played down here. So that's all basically the same, right? So it's really just the this first half that's slightly different because now you have to use your 1st finger and not pulling off the open string and such. So it's going to go. So we're almost out of time, right at the buzzer, which is great because this is the last of the material I want. If you got any last minute questions, please throw them at Chris. Otherwise, I'm going to play this along with the track up the octave. But again, same thing as the open position. So if you're not feeling confident, you don't want to jump up the octave just yet, stick down to the open option. But just like we talked about with the riff as well, once you get good at both the movable position as well as the open position, you can go back and do like four times through the open, 4 times through the movable, and see if you can jump, because it's fun. Why not? Here we go. Hip hip. Just kidding. Here we go. 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. So you got. Liberty there. Okay, so thus completes the lesson. Gave you some basic open chord options. We gave you some, vibes. Talked about the riff, talked about the lead. We even talked about what kind of scales you can play over this if you're soloing. Again, E minor pentatonic all day, so if you know all the... You can play it all over the neck, you can go nuts, have fun. But you can also do Dorian. Dorian is such a really cool sound. Or Aeolian. Really the only difference is, so if you're in this classic position, you can go, or you can go. Anyway, I think that's going to do it for me. It's 9 o'clock on the dot and on the East Coast. Chris, any final thoughts, or should we just wrap this bad boy up? I don't even know how to close out. Do I just say, hey, thanks for tuning in. Again, next week, we probably got, what? No as in no, N-O, or no as in what? Next week, we got, again on Tuesday, we got practicing fundamentals. We'll be doing some right hand stuff. On Thursday, we got another round of this. Next week is going to be a little more, it's that reggae jam kind of vibe. 2 chords, pretty easy. So come hang. Thanks for hanging out. Chris, so I just say goodbye? What's the behind the scenes? So I just click end? I'm going to click end, unless you tell me otherwise. This is the final warning. This is the final countdown, Chris. Don't leave me hanging here. 5. No, don't hang up. Say goodbye. Yeah, it's a great idea. Okay, bye. Thanks.